Hi guys, Jim here with another Sudoku video, and today we will be tackling an arrow Sudoku from one of the collections presented by the Cracking the Cryptic team. Cracking the Cryptic are a couple of YouTubers whose channel I've linked down in the description. They solve puzzles and have been doing so on a daily basis for years and years. Definitely worth checking them out if this is the sort of video that you're interested in. And also if you like playing these puzzles, yeah, really cannot recommend them enough. Each collection has about 100 puzzles. They are very difficult, so they start difficult and they get really, really difficult. And they're all handcrafted though, and they are very logical and yeah, I don't know, beautiful, right, in a way. And yeah, they're just some of the best Sudoku type puzzles I've ever played, and I've played a lot. And interestingly, they're not just the classic Sudokus that you might be used to, they are variants. So today we're looking at an arrow Sudoku, and I'll explain what that means when we get to it. But yeah, there's 7 different types of Sudoku you can kind of enjoy, and the logic is really interesting and it keeps it very fresh. So yeah, would definitely recommend checking them out. But anyway, let's jump into this puzzle. So we've been powering through. We've done 6 puzzles so far. So this is our 7th arrow puzzle. Still only a 2-star difficulty, so hopefully it's not going to destroy me too much. Now, what do we mean by arrow Sudoku? Well, in a regular Sudoku, the normal rules are every box, every row, and every column must have the digits 1 through 9 exactly once. And that's all very well and good. But what arrow Sudoku does is it adds this extra logical constraint with these arrows. And so what this tells you is that this bulb here must equal the sum of the cells on its arrow. So if this was a 6, this might be a 1, 2, and a 3 because they add up to 6. Yeah, that's it. Now the digits can repeat. So if you're allowed to repeat digits on an arrow by the rules of Sudoku, you can. So this arrow, for instance, these 2 digits must be different because they're in the same row. But in this arrow, all 3 digits could be the same because they don't see each other by the usual rules, right? So they're not in the same row, box, or column. So yeah, and that's it. So yeah, let's give it a go. Now, I do think none of these arrows are very helpful. And what I mean by that is a 2-cell arrow. I mean, it's made of 3 cells, but 2 cells on the arrow itself. This could be as little as 1 and 2. Which means this could be a 3, right? And then anything higher than a 3. So it doesn't really restrict it very much. And similarly with these arrows, 3-cell arrows are usually pretty handy because if they can't repeat, then you know that the bulb is at least a 6 because 1, 2, and 3 is the smallest you can put on there. And that adds up to 6. So anything higher gives you a higher sum. But unfortunately, because these could all repeat, this could be as low as 3 as well. So actually, yeah, none of these arrows are very interesting at first. So let's do a bit of regular Sudoku for the time being then. So what am I seeing? So we've got a couple of 7s, so that puts 7s down here. So what I like to do is pencil mark. If you can limit a number to only 2 cells in a box, I drop in a little pencil mark in the top corner. Can I do anything else? 7's not really. What about 8s? Yeah, 8s look reasonably useful. That's interesting. Yeah, okay. So this is immediately some use of this arrow. So could this be an 8? I posit that it could not be an 8, because if that was an 8, the only way you could make this arrow work was if this was a 9 and the 8 was paired up with a 1. But there's a 1 up here, so we can't put another 1 in the box. Therefore, you can't put an 8 on this arrow. So that is in fact an 8 on this arrow. So these 3 cells add up to 8. So that's good to know. If I continue with 8s for just a moment, we can see that 8s are locked into those 2 cells. 8s are locked into these 2 cells. Okay. How about 9s? Well, 9s are locked here, and I don't think we're going to get anything else on 9s, are we? No. So, yeah, 9 could well be... This could well sum to 9, couldn't it? Yeah, we've got plenty of options. Okay, 6s I can see immediately we've got a 6 in this box. So these two 6s combine forces to limit us to a 6 there. Now that's interesting, of course, because this now means this must be at least a 6. Oh, excuse me for one sec. Whew, I don't know if I'm getting hay fever or coming down with a cold, but I can't stop sneezing this morning. Okay, so yeah, so this cell is now at least a 6 because this arrow contains a 6. If this is a 1, that would be a 7. And the only digits available to it are 9 and 7, because I've seen already an 8 in the box. So what I like to do now, instead of the pencil mark in the corner, I'll drop pencil marks in the middle of the cell saying this cell can only be a 9. So that's distinct from the logic that says there is a 9 in one of these two cells. I'm saying this cell can only be a 7 or a 9. So hopefully you can kind of see the difference between those two types of pencil marking. Now that means this must be either a 1 or a 3 to complete this arrow. So yeah, arrows are coming good, as you'd expect. This is an arrow Sudoku after all. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Got watery eyes and all sorts going on now. Okay, right. So can we do anything with 3s? I noticed we had 2 3s. Not really. 4s don't look very promising. 1s really don't look very promising. Okay. So maybe we do need to look at these arrows a little bit. I must admit, I can't see any obvious logic you can start drawing. Could this be an 8? Yes. Because although this would need to be 6, 2, 3, 5, both of which are ruled out, there could still be a 1 and a 7. No, it couldn't. It couldn't be any. So how do you make an 8 from 2 cells? How do you make 2 cells add up to an 8? It's either 1, 7, 2, 6, or 3, 5. Obviously, you can't have 2 4s because that would break the rules of Sudoku. And you can't do 2, 6 because of the 6 in the box. You can't do 3, 5 because of the 3 in the box. And you can't do 1, 7 because of these two 7s. So yeah, that actually cannot be an 8. So that must be the 8. So that was nice logic. Okay, so, okay, yep, this is another nice one. So we've got 8s here in this box. Now the question is, could you put an 8 on this arrow? Well, of course you can't, because this cell needs to be less than 10. And if you put 8 here, and then you paired it with anything at all, you are 1, you're at 9, so anything else that you then add on makes it too big. So that cannot be an 8. So that's the 8. And then 8's unlimited here. Okay, so that was a bit more, interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking, how does this help? And it just doesn't, right? So we know these 3 add up to 8, but because they could all be different, it could be 1, 1, 6, or it could be 3, 3, 2, right? This is just too many. There's too many options. Normally, 8 from 3 cells, if you want to make 3 cells add up to 8, you know it has to include at least a 1. So that's some nice logic you can normally do, but unfortunately here, we cannot. Thinking, where do the low digits go in this box? So where does 2 go? Because it obviously doesn't go here. But that's not really that helpful, is it? I must be missing something obvious, and I'm sorry. I know it can be quite frustrating watching these videos and being like, oh, there's something to do here. Okay, what's missing from this column then? This is sort of my weakest column, isn't it? Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean 2 and 3. So 1, 2, 5, and 7 are missing from here. And we know that can't be a 7. It's not very much use, is it? Could this be a 7? 1, 1, 9. Okay, no, so that can't be a 7. Could it be a 5? Yeah, because it could go 5, 1, 1, and 7 there. Yes. Okay. Maybe I've missed something obvious with pencil markings. Let's just go around and just make sure I'm being rigorous. 1s are obviously a non-starter. Well, 2s... Well, in this box, that can't be a 2, can it? So 2 is limited to one of these 2 cells in the box. So it's worth noting. I don't think it's that helpful. 3s... So we've got 3 here. You could definitely put a 3 on the arrow though, can't you? There's no restriction there. Okay, what about 4s again? I'm not seeing anything on 4s at all. We don't have any 5s. Come on, 6. 6 must be useful. Well, okay, yeah, so I missed this pencil marking of 6s, so 6s can be in one of those two. Can this be a 6? Right, come on, maybe this is where we go. This can't be an 8, and you can't put a 1 here, or a 3. So can this be a 6? You can't, no, it can't. Okay, here we go, here is something. That can't be a 6, because I cannot make this a 1, a 2, or a 3. Which you would need, right? So that's not a 6. So that is in fact a 6. Good. Okay. And 6 is limited to these 2 cells in this box, isn't it? Because I can't put a 6 on this arrow because I would need 2 1s to make up the 8, and there's a 1 in there. So 6s are here for sure. Okay. So that's not nothing. Okay, so you can't put actually, yeah, no, this is big, isn't it? How did I not see this? So I can't put a 1 or a 2 or a 3 on this arrow because the 2 in the column and the 1 and 3. So the lowest I could put on this arrow is 4 and 5, and those add up to 9. So it must be that because I can't anything higher would break the puzzle. So that is a 9, that is a 4, and that is a 5. Ugh. That took me too long to spot. I am very sorry. 2, 7 here. Ah, brilliant. Okay, so these fine. So we can resolve the rest of this row basically now, can't we? Because 2, 7 rules out the 7 from this cell. So that is a 9. That therefore is a 3, and that just leaves us with a, what is this? A 2. No, not a 2. I was going to say, I can't possibly put a 2 here. A 1, 5 pair. Okay, and that is useful because obviously the 1 can't go on the bulb of an arrow. So that is a 5. That is a 1. And in fact, these two 1s team up to give me a 1 here. So now I know these two add up to 4. So this can't be a 5. Could be a 2. Can't be a 2 because there's already a 2 here. So this is a 1. And this is a 3. Okay, we're getting somewhere. There's a 3 up here. These 2 cells are a 7 and a 2, which is nice. That goes along with here. So I know there's a 7 and a 2 down here. So actually I might as well just complete these 3, 2, 7 like that. Ah, that can't be a 7 because there's a 7 in the column. These are therefore a 3, 4 and 5, aren't they? Yep. Okay, alright. From the pits of despair, we are finding some stuff. Right, now, have we got... We're not quite as restricted here as we were. So I can't put a 1 or a 3, but I could put a 2. So this could be a 2 and a 4, being a 6. So the lowest this cell could be is a 6, and it can't be a 6. It could be a 7, and it can't be an 8. So that is a 7 or a 9, which is funny, because that was one of the very first clues we had up there as well. I wonder if these little ones are all going to be 9s. Because you can see we've already got 2 9s. That'd be nice. How do I make 9? 1. Yeah. No, still quite a few ways I can make 9. 2 and 7, or 4 and 5 both work. Oh, no, no. Okay. Again, I can't put a 7 on this arrow. I used that logic earlier, didn't I? So if this is a 9, then these are a 4 and a 5. Which would make this a 7. And then a 2. Which does seem perfectly plausible, doesn't it? But, can this be a 7? Can this be a 7? So if this is a 7, I need to make this either a 1-6, which I can't because there's a 1-6 in the column, or a 3-4, which I can't because there's a 3 in the box, or a 2-5, and I can't make this a 2-5 because that would leave no possible options for this cell. So actually, this can't be a 7. Yay. And then I think, yeah, I just went through all the possibilities here, didn't I? So that's a 4-5, that's a 7, that's a 2, that's a 7. This 4-5 pair here means this cannot be a 5, so that is a 2. So these two add up to 5. So they could be 1-4 or 2-3, but they can't be 2-3. So they've got to be 1-4 in some order. Well, yes. There is a 1 down here, isn't there? I wonder if I can prove that this is a 9. Then I'll have all these. I'll have all my 9s, which would be nice. Maybe not just yet. 9s are in here. One of these two cells, and they're in, lovely. So 9s are restricted to one of these two cells in this box, but you can't put a 9 on an arrow unless it's a 1 cell arrow, and then the bulb adds up to 9 as well. So that's a 9. Yeah, so that's a 9 in one of these 3. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. That could still be a 9. 3 is in one of these two cells. Oh, I was going to say... No, okay. I just got myself in trouble here. I thought these were a 2-7 pair. And I was like, wait, that doesn't work. That adds up to 9, and I've got 8 in there. But of course, these two could be two 2s, and in fact I think they are, because can this be a 7? Well, of course it can't, because then I would need to put these two cells would need to add up to 1 in order to make this an 8. So that can't be a 7. I don't know how long I've had access to that. So, and again, I can't put a 7 on this arrow. So yeah, so like I said before, you can in fact repeat digits on an arrow, and there you go. There's an example. There's a 6 and a 7. I need a 4 to complete the 8 arrow. That gives me a 1 and a 4 down here. That gives me a 5 and a 4 resolved in that box, which is nice. Okay, and this triple up top has been sorted out, so that's 5, 3, 4 in that order as well. We know that 3 is in one. Aha! Ha ha ha! So 3 is limited in this box to one of these two cells. So in this box, it's limited to one of these two cells. But can I put this? Can this be a 3? No, it cannot, because there's a 2 in the row already, and you would need a 1 and a 2 to make that a 3. So that is a 3. That puts a 3 on the arrow. Come on, is that going to be coupled with a 6 to give me an 8? To give me a 9? I hope so. We know. No. This puzzle has let me down. I cannot put a 9 here anymore. Why is that? Well, in this box, this is a 1-9 pair. And what that does is it teams up with these 9s here. So we've got an X-wing across the rows, basically. And what is that? What do I mean by X-wing? Well, because I know a 9 is in one of these two, and I know a 9 is in one of these two, I don't know the order, but I do know I cannot possibly put any more 9s on these rows. And the reason for that, if you just ask the question, where would the 9 go? Well, if I put a 9 here, well, if I did make this a 9, right, because I've been trying to all game, if I made that a 9, well, what happens to these two cells? That one would become a 9. What happens to these two cells? Suddenly I've got a 9 and a 9 here, and there'd be no space for a 9 in the box. So actually, sadly, that cannot be a 9. Which does give me a 9, so that is the 9 in the box. Opportunity missed, puzzle setter, honestly. I'm only joking, of course. This has been a nice puzzle. That is not 2-6, that is 2-1. Ah, and there's a 1 here, so this resolves that. That is a 2 and a 1 in that order. This column is missing a 5. Still don't know much about this arrow, do I? It's got a 1 on it. It's literally the least restrictive number you could put on this arrow. I start to believe this is an 8, you know. So 5 is in one of these two cells. What are we missing from this box? Well, 2 is in one of these two cells. Ah, okay, and in one of these two cells, so that's nice. So this is a 2-3 pair now in the box, which means to complete the box, I need... Nope, excuse me. As soon as I press 7, I realised, I saw, I need a 4 to complete the box. That gives me a 4 over here. That's my last 4 and the first digit that we've ruled out. First digit we've collected our 9 of. Where does 7 go in this box? It must go here. Ah, that's nice. So that sorts out this 5-7 pair as well. There's a 5 in one of these two cells. Can that be a 5 on the arrow? 5 and 1. So that would be 6. And then I couldn't have a 1 or a 2. I could have a 3 for a 9, couldn't I? Yeah, so that still could be a 5. What am I missing in this row though? 5 and 1, I think. Ah, okay. So in fact it is a 5. So there's a because there's a 1 in this box. So the 1 in this row must go here. This is a 5, and I think I just concluded this must be a 3 to give me a 9 over here. That's therefore a 3. That's therefore a 5, and this is indeed an 8, as I thought it might be. There's an 8 now revealed in that box. That 2 there sorts out this 3-2 pair from before. This 1-9 pair is sorted by this 9 from earlier. That gives me a 2 down here, a 6 to complete the box, a 6 to complete this row, a 1 to complete the box. What am I missing? 5, 6s and 7s. Here's my last 7. Here's my last 6, and very last digit is a 5. Whew! Wow, I struggled in the middle there. There was a bit of a drought. I think I spotted there was something in the top right hand corner with that arrow, wasn't there? Yes, there was a 1, 2, and a 3, which meant that it couldn't be on the arrow, and then it had to be a 9. Blah, blah, blah. Right, but that was a really fun puzzle. I don't mind being challenged. It's nice to, you know, it's nice to have a bit of a complicated journey to the solve. And 22 minutes. I mean, it's a lot on the longer side, but hopefully not too long. That you found it uninteresting. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Cheers.